I'm the Director of Innovation for AMP Creative. I specialize in using new types of communication technology to help our clients inform or educate. Often that comes in the format of AR or VR, volumetric capture, custom app development, or anything in between. I get really excited anytime I can find a use case for new technology that truly makes sense and brings value to the people who are using it. Communication technology is changing at an amazing rate. It can be really difficult to adapt to those changes if you don't understand the value. When you're used to interacting with information in a certain way, new technology can be really overwhelming. Before I get too far along, I want to pause for a moment and talk about the metaverse. It's a concept that's been thrown around a lot, and so depending on who you're talking to, everyone might have their own definition. When you Google it, you see images like this. Shout out to my friend Russ Johnson, sporting a pair of Vive Flow VR goggles. You're also confronted with thousands of articles covering topics from digital real estate to cryptocurrency, NFTs, maybe a social media company that recently changed its name. But you also get information about full-on 3D worlds that allow you to interact, like Fortnite and Second Life and VR chat. To me, the metaverse is just the next step in the evolution of how we communicate and interact with each other through digital technology. Here's a couple examples. On the left, you see an augmented reality volumetric capture of my friend Rafi. He's not really in the room with us, but through the power of this smartphone, we can see a full three-dimensional hologram. And in this case, he's demonstrating the proper use of some protective equipment necessary to get into a construction site. Reflective vest and steel-toed boots. As technology advances, the hardware required to create and capture and display higher and higher quality experiences becomes more affordable. And a great example of that is the headset formerly known as the Oculus Quest, now the Meta Quest. This headset has significantly lowered the barrier of entry to high-quality virtual reality experiences over the past few years. Not so long ago, if you wanted to get into a really high-quality virtual reality experience, you were looking at spending at least $1,000 on a nice headset. And you also needed a really beefy computer to be able to power and drive that headset. But now, with this headset, you can get into a nice, high-quality experience at around a $400 price point. And it also enables an entire library of applications and experiences, like the one you see below. This experience lets you hang out, watch TV, or just chat and have a conversation with someone who might be around the world as if they're right there in your living room. Now, 100 years ago, the world was not connected with Wi-Fi or broadband or virtual reality-based telepresence. Here in North Texas, we were connected with the interurban railway system. So I'm going to talk about the Interurban Railway Museum. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's just about a block from here on East 15th Street, and it sits right inside Haggard Park. And about a year ago, they came to us with a problem that they were hoping could be solved through the use of new technology. Often the museum will have groups of elementary school children come through on tours, they'll check out the exhibits, and then they'll spend some time outside exploring the beautifully restored Car 360. Now, unfortunately, like other rail cars built in the early 1900s, Car 360 is not wheelchair accessible, meaning not everyone that comes to visit the museum is able to explore this historic space on their own. This was a wonderful opportunity for us to digitally capture a little piece of North Texas history. The ones and zeros of digital experiences, like virtual reality experiences, for example, are far less susceptible to the strains of time when compared to physical objects, like the train car that sits outside. So anytime we can digitize a little piece of history, that's incredibly valuable. Now, virtual reality has an amazing power to be able to transport you to places that would be really difficult for you to get to. For example, you can strap on a headset and instantly you're floating next to the International Space Station or exploring the pyramids in Egypt. Or like I said before, maybe you're just hanging out with somebody around the globe as if they're right there with you. So creating an experience that allows school children to explore a rail car that's right here in Plano should be no problem. Here's how we did it. We captured each compartment in 360 degrees. And then we placed hotspots or points of interest all around the car, covering different features. When a learner in the headset selects one of the points of interest, they're treated to a mini documentary about that feature. For example, if someone selects the points of interest in the mailroom, they learn more about the sorting process. When we brought one of the early initial builds of the experience over to the museum to let the staff try it out, that was when I knew we had something special. I had anticipated that what we had created would appeal to our target audience. School children are generally really excited by new environments, excited to strap the headset on, jump right in, and start exploring. I was a little worried that the older volunteer staff that works at the museum would be a little more hesitant to jump in. But boy, was I wrong. This is Mike. Whoa, that was amazing, Mike said as he took off the headset after spending a few minutes exploring Railcar 360 in virtual reality. What we had created was easy to understand, easy to navigate, and could act as a bridge between generations. I also want to show this image that was recently shared on the museum Twitter. The wonderful thing about designing an experience for accessibility from the ground up is that so many people of varying ability are able to access it. The environment in what we created is stable, meaning if you're someone that's got motion sick in virtual reality experiences in the past, that's not going to be a problem here. Also, when people are making selections in this experience, they do so with their gaze. So there's no need for additional hand controllers, and anyone can use it. And one of the mistakes developers often make when they're working in emergent technology is they're so focused on making sure that the technology works, they don't stop to think about how it's going to be used by the end user, or if it truly makes sense for the message that they're trying to convey. By looking at virtual reality as a tool to augment storytelling, you give learners the ability to explore at their own pace, spend time learning about the features that interest them, and move on when they're ready. Learners, both old and young, take delight in exploring new spaces and environments. And I'm especially proud of the work that was done on this project because it enables a new demographic of technology users a little glimpse of what's possible in the world of virtual reality while preserving a slice of Texas history. Thank you.